and welcome back to everyone here. We're about to be doing some Dead Space, and Dead Space is going to be pretty awesome. There might be some things in space that we have to hunt down, some kind of living organisms or non-living organisms, something dark side, something Lovecraft. I don't know. But Sharkhat, it is up to you to save the universe. Show us how it's done.
All right, yeah, hi everybody. I'm Sharkhat87. We're gonna be playing some Dead Space 2. We're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. So time is gonna begin when we gain control of our character, which is right after this load screen. So I'm gonna go ahead and select the difficulty here, and I will give you a countdown leading into that. So let's go ahead and do it. All right, here we go. So time is gonna start in about 3, 2, 1. Go. All right. So this is Dead Space 2 any%. We're playing on casual difficulty, which is the easiest difficulty, just because it is the fastest. So we get a little bit more ammo. Enemies are a little easier to kill, have more health, stuff like that. We have more health, I mean. So right at the beginning here, we're trying to escape from this hospital. We're in a straitjacket, so our movement is pretty limited. So we gotta just run for the first minute or so here. Watch a little bit of a cutscene. This guy's gonna cut us out of it, and then once he does that, we can actually, move normally, aim our guns, stuff like that. So chapter 1 is sort of the tutorial level. The first half we kind of have to play normally in order to get things we need to progress. But once we do that, once we have what we need, we can pretty much skip the rest of the level. So I guess a little bit about the story. We're Isaac Clarke, we're this engineer in space. We survived the Ishimura in the first game. There's an outbreak of these alien zombie creatures called necromorphs. Turns out there are some on this ship too, and there's this alien artifact called the Marker that's controlling them. In the first game, it's more they discover one. In this game, we find out that we and a few other patients have been used to create one in government sector in the ship. So the goal is sort of to get there and destroy it to stop all the necromorphs. But yeah, this is our friend Edgar here. He's gonna tell us our rig is red and cut us out of this straitjacket in about a minute. And yo, it's a blast drop in Utah, by the way. Thank you for the good luck. Appreciate it. So here we go. We get the fake out. We think we're dead. We're not. We're fine though.
There's no escaping from what I've done.
But yeah, so once we pick up the flashlight here is when things are gonna start picking up a little bit, but I'll talk a little bit about that now. So the flashlight is programmed in an interesting way. So when you pick it up, it breaks you out of whatever cutscenes or animations that you're in. So that's actually how they get you out of this cutscene here. But the thing is, the way they spawn it in is by pulling up this restore health tutorial. So using that spawns the flashlight in, right? Well, it turns out you can actually go reuse tutorials you get from the menu. So until we get a little further in this level, when the game fixes that, we can just pull up that tutorial again, spawn the flashlight in, grab it, and skip whatever cutscene we're in. So it's really, really broken. Unfortunately, we're only really able to use it twice. You'll get to see that a little bit. I'm gonna dupe the flashlight, pick it up, and that'll skip a couple short cutscenes. Yo, and what's up, Ty? Thank you for the good luck as well. A couple other quick things here. I'm gonna aim in a certain spot here, and we're gonna use that to cancel this short little tutorial where they try to get you to use the locator. Gonna do a thing called a wall boost here. We just run into this little slope, and we can climb on top of it. We'll talk more about that later. It's gonna come up again a bunch. But here we're actually gonna start those flashlight dupes I was talking about. So we're gonna pull up this tutorial, we're gonna use it. It spawns in a flashlight all the way on the other side of the level. Pick it up, skips that cutscene. And we're gonna do the same thing here. So use the tutorial, another flashlight spawn. That's the cool thing about it too, is you can pick it up from anywhere on the map. So even though I'm nowhere near the locker where you get the flashlight, it's still there. So as long as I don't press interact too early here, we'll be fine. And we're gonna skip this cutscene here. As soon as we start falling through the vent, I'm gonna pick up the flashlight. He's gonna stand up. You'll see the camera actually breaks here. So we're gonna checkpoint restart to fix that. That can happen sometimes in the game if cutscenes get bugged. The camera just goes to your feet, and you're not able to move it unless you aim. So very slow. We don't want that. So reloading fixes that, and then we're gonna grab Kinesis, which is gonna be very useful in the run. Let's just pick things up and throw them. And once we have this, because we do need this to beat the game, we can actually skip the rest of the chapter like I was talking about before. Quick heads up, we're going to be going to about 5 FPS here, so the stream is not dying. It's just there are a few tricks in this game, on PC at least, where we are going to go to a little bit lower FPS. So we call this trick the cha-cha slide, because we're going to stomp 2 times, and then back up and run forward. That's going to set up, we need to hit this wall at a certain time. So we're going to stomp twice, run back as soon as we hit the wall, go to low FPS, run forward, and if we do it right, okay, we missed it just slightly, but that's okay. We can just go up the elevator, try it again. But the idea is if you hit the elevator in this seam here at the right time, at lower FPS, you will flip through it. So we're going to try that again. So 2 stomps this time, run back. There we go. Okay, nice. So that clips us out here, and the boss room is just behind us. I'm going to run back this way and fall, and I'm going to spam interact while the game's on pause there, and we're actually going to open that door. So doors load in the levels in this game. That's how the game continually loads in each room for the most part. So by opening that door, it loads in this level even though we were nowhere near here. Now I skipped getting a gun, so I actually don't have one, but we can still kill this guy by throwing pops at him. So it's a little silly, but we can sort of stun lock him like that, and then wanted to just, there we go. Same thing with this arm. Oh, okay, that's fine. Drop the combo, that's fine. And he's dead. We do have to kill him, or else these doors don't unlock here and we can't get out. We'll talk about it a bit more later too, but while the level is unloaded there, I actually am able to run through doors, so even if they're locked, I can get through them, but this panel also doesn't load, and we needed to use this to get to the next level anyway, so that's pretty much all of Chapter 1. We did skip the stasis module, and so we're not going to get that for the whole run, and we also did not pick up a suit, so we were beating the entire game in the patient suit, which you're not normally supposed to be able to do.
Only if you reach me in time.
Now, like I said, we don't have a gun. We do actually need one to beat this level, so that's why I picked up that money, and we're going to pick up the plasma cutter here. Fun fact, you're also not really supposed to have the flashlight either. You're supposed to watch a cutscene in Chapter 1 that converts it into the plasma cutter. But fortunately for us, if we skip the gun, we can still buy it later. You can actually get through most of the game without shooting anything, at least in 80%. In Glitchless, there are a lot more places where you have to shoot things, but this level is one of the 4 or 5 places in the game where you do actually have to shoot something to progress. Alright, so we're gonna do another wall boost here, so again, that's where we run into a wall with certain collision, and it lets us climb. So we're going to gain a little bit of height on this plant back here, or sorry, this corner first, and that is going to give us enough height to climb up that plant. And we're just going to jump out of bounds. There's a checkpoint here, we're going to hit that and reload. So you'll see us do that a lot. Fortunately, when you get checkpoints, even if it's out of bounds, some area that's not loaded, when you reload from it, it'll just fix the load and put you back where you're supposed to be. Just a nice little chunk of the level there. There we go. Okay. Alright, so gotta kill these enemies to progress. They always have the same spawns, so we know where they're gonna be. Nice. Get that guy around the corner sometimes. I'm purposely gonna not blow this guy up, because, or the third guy, because the fourth guy we can kill instantly. Like that. So those enemies, exploders, are actually invincible. Well, sort of invincible. While they're jumping out of a vent, you can't just shoot them normally. But if you blow them up like that, they will still die in one hit. So we can kill them just a few seconds faster. And now we're going to be going on the train. This part is pretty straightforward. Not too much we can do to speed this up, but first we're gonna do a hack panel. So 8 possible directions you can aim, and you gotta find the blue node 3 times, and the positions are random, so you just gotta guess. It's one of the only instances in the run where there's some randomness that can move or save you some time, but there's only a few of them that we actually have to do, so it's not usually a huge deal. But it feels really bad if you miss, though. Gotta go through a whole long animation where he shocks himself and then have to redo it. I will say one thing I am doing here is trying to make sure I pick up as many items as I can. The money route is not too tight, but at least in the beginning of the game, we do really need to make sure we pick up enough items. We're gonna buy 2 guns at the start of the next chapter, and we need 20k credits to afford them. Which, like I said, it's not too bad, but if you don't go out of your way to pick up some extra items from those enemies, sometimes it comes short. Also, you can see we're flying through space without our actual jet boots here, which is kind of funny. Another quick fun fact, which I don't think really affects this category at all. Oops. Blown up there. Is the patient suit actually doesn't have an air meter. So the game has these vacuum sections where you go out into space, and then you have an air meter that comes on, and if it runs out, you suffocate. But the patient suit essentially has infinite ammo because it doesn't actually have an air meter, so it doesn't start counting down when you go out in a vacuum. So you can actually just go out there indefinitely and you'll never die. For this run, it doesn't really help us that much, but it's pretty cool. All right, so just gotta survive, kill these enemies here. Your aim sways back and forth here. It's a little awkward. So you just gotta be a little careful, but again, we're on casual, so the enemies aren't too bad. Just gotta, they mostly spawn in the same places every time. Ooh, okay, that was a stasis pack. Don't think I got that. Would have been, okay, that's fine. It sells for a lot of money, so if we do get it, it's nice, but I think we're okay. I could run over there and grab it if it's still there, but I think we'll be okay. Right, so that's chapter 2. There were 15 chapters in the game.
I need a new route.
What happened? I thought we lost you.
With the last few being in government sector, like I said.
How did you end up there?
A lot of the levels are actually
This won't be the most pleasant route, but it'll get you
loaded at once, or I should put it this way. So the game loads one level at a time, but one level could be one or multiple chapters. So for example, chapter 1 is one level, so you can't get to chapters 2 or 3 chapter 1. Let me explain this a little better here. Okay, so chapter 1 is one level, that's loaded, and then you hit a load trigger. Chapter 1 disappears, then it loads in 2 and 3. So chapters 2 and 3 is actually one big level. It's too far away. We can't get to here from chapter 2. The train takes you way too far out. Let's see. Just gonna make sure I sell pretty much everything here. We got enough money. Get rid of that. Oh, whoops. Fine. Okay, we're a little low on ammo, but I think we'll be okay. Fairly short. See, it would have. Yeah. See, if I got in that stasis pack, it would have been totally fine. But that's all right. We just got to pick up some extra ammo drops. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is sometimes 2 chapters are actually one level. So you'll see later we'll jump from maybe say chapter 4 to 5, where in some other instances chapter 6 is just one level and you can't go anywhere else. You can only skip to somewhere else in chapter 6. But anyway, we're kind of just going through the residential area right now. Doing another hack panel. There we go. Alright, so I picked up the javelin gun. Casually, all these guns are really, really good, but in this case, we get this one because it is going to kill a mini-boss later in one hit, which will be really useful. And the line gun, while also being really strong, is going to let us do some skips later as well. There's a few things about it that are a bit broken. but we'll get to that in a little bit. So here we got to go through this vent on the left, and the fastest way to unlock it is to blow out that vent and then close it. Shortly after that it opens. Otherwise you kind of got to sit there and fight all the enemies, and it opens a lot slower. Alright, so we're going to do another low FPS trick here. So we're going to do a save station clip. By interacting with the save station in a certain way while at lower FPS, we can actually use the momentum of it bringing us forward and use that to clip through the wall. And we're actually going to land in a 0G area here, which will let us... There we go. Let's fly around the level like this. Alright, so then we're just going to open this door here, and that'll load the level around us. There we go. Alright. So this is the part of chapter 3 where we're kind of chilling for a little bit. If you have anything you want to read or say here, this would be a good time. Otherwise, I'll keep going. Cool, sounds good. So this is a hallucination from the marker that Isaac has. He sees Nicole, so she's his dead girlfriend from the first game. She tries to guilt you and do all these things through the story. We're actually going to skip a lot of this, so we're not going to see the full development of that, but you'll see a few of these cutscenes here and there throughout the game. Going to do a really short time save here, a really small time save, I should say. So there's this elevator here, and when you call the elevator button, it unloads this top floor because it's taking you to the bottom floor, but you can actually hit the elevator button from outside. So this area I'm standing is going to unload when it sends the elevator down, and we can stick with a shortcut. This probably only saves a second or two because the elevator is really fast, but it does save a little bit. Gotta kill these enemies to progress, and they always spawn in the same spots, but the type of enemies you get is always a little bit different. Alright, that wasn't too bad. Okay, wait, I actually need to grab some ammo. Alright, yeah, I might grab a couple... We'll go slightly out of my way to grab a couple ammo drops, because we could use some more cutter ammo for a fight coming up. You can always do it with other guns as well, but it's a lot faster if you have enough cutter ammo, so we'll see. Fortunately, on this difficulty, we get 9 shots per drop, so that's pretty good. Let's see, any here? Oh, all line racks, alright. There's a couple more in this next room.
Titan station that Tideman can't monitor. Separation of church and state.
No, Dana, we shouldn't be in here. This is the last place we want to be right.
Isaac! My brother died trying to rescue
I think that was some. Nice.
Good work. I'm safe under the top of the church.
Another one? Okay. I could use maybe one more, but that's actually pretty good. Alright, so right here, I'm gonna shoot a fuse that's gonna unlock this door. We're gonna shoot it through the wall by aiming and shooting really quickly. Normally you're supposed to use that to backtrack, but we can do a little sequence break there by shooting it early. Oh, another cutter drop, perfect. Alright, so we're gonna jump on this table, and it is actually going to push us through the floor. So a lot of objects in this game won't move if you, or will move if you run into them, right? But some of these objects will actually do the opposite. They'll actually push you in certain situations. So by getting on top of the table, we can clip through the floor and then climb up on top of the ceiling here. All right, so like I said in my my long-winded explanation about the levels earlier, so some of the levels are loaded at once. So we're in chapter 4 right now, and now we are in chapter 5 because the game considers them to be one map, like one level, even though it calls them different levels. So coincidentally, the end of chapter 5 is about around the middle of chapter 4 there, so we can take a nice little shortcut. And there's that mini boss I was talking about, and that's why we get the javelin gun, because it kills him in one hit. It's only a few seconds slower to shoot him with the cutter, but if you have enough money, you know, might as well. And we actually do need the javelin gun for a few things later as well. Alright, this is that fight I was talking about. These guys all die in one hit to pretty much anything. So, since the cutter fires so fast, that's why we just want to make sure we have enough bullets. Fortunately, we actually got a few nice cutter drops, so we have way more than we need. So we should be doing great on ammo for a while. So those guys will generally spawn in the same spots. As long as you get to the same spots in the room at the same times, you'll get the same spawns. Sometimes they do weird things, but we have that routed out, so you know you get all the way to the door, killing them along the way, and then you just snipe the last guy as he jumps out of the vent. Just keep going. Alright, so we're actually getting pretty close to being done with early game here. We just got a fun little cutscene coming up. So the reason we shoot that vent there is when this elevator gets to the bottom, door opens if you've killed the enemy that jumps out of here.
You're almost here.
If you just shoot the vent, the enemy doesn't spawn at all. Otherwise, like I said, you get to the bottom, the enemy jumps down, jump scare, you kill it, then the door opens. But yeah, the vent's broken already, the enemy just doesn't spawn. Alright. I don't think I really talked about this so far, but this person here is Dana. She calls us all the way back at the beginning of the game and says, "Oh, Isaac, you have dementia from the marker, but we can treat you. You know, if we don't treat you, you'll die. So you gotta, you know, come meet up with us." So it turns out she and these guys here are actually unitologists. So they're this religious cult that actually worships the marker. They actually want people to turn into necromorphs. So they're crazy. They want to use us to build more markers because I know that we built one already. Obviously, we don't want to do that. You'll see in a second here. So there's actually another sort of faction trying to capture us as well. The people that run this whole station in the first place, EarthGov. They don't like these people either. Which, well, you know, you'll see what happens in a second here, I guess. Just let this speak for itself.
Now would you escort Isaac to the shuttle and put him in stasis? The last thing we want is for him to die.
So yeah, there's a gunship from EarthGov that shows up and somehow kills everybody but Isaac and doesn't hit him at all. Got the real stormtrooper aim here, plot armor, whatever you want to call it. And we're gonna get I don't know if I would call this a boss. I feel like calling it a boss is a little, giving it too much credit. It's essentially just a QTE section, little, you know, auto-scroller kind of thing. This boss has a really cool design, but there's really not too much to it. It really is more of a cutscene than a fight. But, you know, just gotta shoot the big weak point 4 times. Now, we're actually going to we're going to try to skip the second half of this fight. So, on the gunship, it's going to show up in a second here. It has these explosive canisters on the sides of it, and if you shoot those, it takes you to the next level. But they're actually, which you're supposed to do normally during another cutscene, another section. But you can actually shoot it as soon as the gunship spawns. So we're gonna take the line gun, which its shot travels through the air pretty slowly, and we're gonna try to time this so it hits the gunship as it spawns in here. Okay, it's a little too early. We're gonna try that again. It's a little precise, but we have a pretty good lineup for it. But yeah, that's the idea. We want to line it up, walk forward, shoot, and then hit the cutscene. Gunship comes in, and if we do it right, it should snipe him. Like that. There we go. Okay. So that just instantly sends us into chapter 6 here, and just don't have to do the whole second half. Though it is a pretty cool section of the game normally, but you know we're trying to go fast here. It also breaks the camera like this. We can do some kind of funny stuff here. While we're waiting for this dialogue to play out. So this guy is Strauss. He's another patient who was also captured and forced to make markers. He is a lot crazier than than we are at this point. But basically he's saying, oh, the markers in government sector, we can destroy it. And he says he knows, yeah, like I said, he says he knows where it is. So we're trying to meet up with him and eventually get there. Alright, so we haven't really talked about deloads too much. I mentioned it earlier, but basically, when you open doors, it will load rooms, and when doors close, they deload rooms. So we can abuse that by opening multiple doors at once and loading different things in. And by opening these doors in a certain combination and going into this room here, it'll actually unload. And now that the room is unloaded, these doors don't have collisions, so we can just walk straight through them. And then I open that door there to load this in over here. Get on this invisible ledge here. And now the line gun's alt fire is an explosive, timed explosive. And we're gonna use that to launch ourselves across this gap here. Nice, okay. Sometimes that can be a little tricky, but that works. And hopefully we drop right into this checkpoint here and skip this whole area. All right, so we used to buy guns and things like that at that store down there, but we skipped that now, so we're gonna have to wait until a little later to do some shopping. That's all right. So we're gonna do a glitch here called a punch hover. I won't be able to talk for part of it because I'll be counting, but basically what happens is we're gonna get a state here where Isaac is gonna be floating in midair as long as we're punching, and we're gonna use that to float over to the checkpoint. So again, if you got anything to read or say, this would be a great time. I'm gonna be punching for about a minute here, and I gotta count so I know where I am. All right, so 1, 2. 10. 30. 40. 'Almost there. 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we punched 57 times. Hopefully we get it. If we don't, we got to do it again. Not a big deal. But as soon as you stop punching, you fall like this. So the idea is every time you punch or he swings to the right, he takes a step forward. So we line up our camera and we know how many punches, like how much distance we need to cover. And once we know we're above the checkpoint, we got it. Okay, nice. Okay, that is a really nice one to get first try, especially for live runs, because if you miss it, you kind of just sit there and it's like, well, time to wait here for a minute and punch again. But cool. Okay, great. So, yeah, again, idea is we count to 57 because we know if we step forward 57 times from that exact spot, that we'll land right above that checkpoint. Gonna do another deload here. So if we open this door and then go through this door, this level won't be loaded. And we're gonna skip a whole fight here. Normally, it's a pretty cool part of the game actually, but yeah, there's a big fight in the gym here after doing that hack panel. But we are just gonna run straight through the room since it's not loaded. And coming up here, we do actually need this room to be loaded to progress, so I'm gonna open this door here. Cool. So here's Nicole again. We're gonna put her in timeout while we wait. Nice. Actually kind of hard to balance this on her head. Oh, that's a really good one, actually. Oh, okay. I've seen it before where it's balanced on her head perfectly, and then after she disappears, it falls down, and it still was standing up straight, but I think I've only done that once. Hello, Semistry, what's up? Alright, but yeah, I'm really glad I got that punch over first try. Sometimes it's a little tricky.
Another survivor. He says he knows you.
It's one of those things where you look at it and it looks really slow, but I promise it's super fast. It actually saves about 2 minutes over going through the level normally, even though you sit there and just punch for a minute straight.
Don't move.
Ellie, I need him to
No
be
way you're
back
using
again.
webcam mic again? You can't trick me like that. These guys like to make fun of me because I ran this game, this category at AGDQ online in 2022, and somehow my OBS settings got messed up, or I didn't check, or I don't know, but it was using my webcam mic instead of my normal mic, and it did not sound as good. See, I knew it. Yeah. See, they did this to me last time I ran this. Actually, well, no, I don't think it actually was. I think you guys were just trolling me. Unless there was one time when it was also messed up playing this game specifically. I don't know. It's just cursed, I guess. Anyway, speaking of things that are cursed, this is the transport hub. This is probably the worst level in the game. If you're trying to actually get a good time in this game, which is kind of ironic because most of it involves just waiting around for stuff to happen. But we're supposed to have another mini boss or boss fight. I don't know what exactly you'd call it. This game doesn't really have a lot of bosses, or the series in general isn't really known for having a lot of boss fights or good boss fights. But yeah, we have this enemy called a brute that's going to show up, and it has some weird properties, weird collision. So if he punches us in this corner here with his right arm, we'll clip through most of the time. If he punches us with his left arm, it does not work. So the idea is we bait him into punching us, and if we don't clip, we bait him again, and we just do that until he either clips us, and we get the trick, or we die. Because if we don't have enough health, he won't do... If you get on low health, he'll do a different punch animation, and that one won't clip you. I do have a health pack, and pretty full health here, so we will hopefully get a few tries at it. There's a few weird things that can happen. He can clip you through the floor, and you'll die. Which is not good. Unfortunately, if you do reload from the checkpoint here, the collision's not the same and it won't work anymore. So we'll see what happens. If he doesn't kill us, or sorry, if he doesn't clip us through, it's not a huge deal and we'll just do it normally. But it is a nice time save if you can get it. So we're gonna go in the corner, let's just spin the camera a little bit and hope he... Okay, so that's left arm, let's try that again. So bait a punch and he'll always come up and punch you again. Okay, close. Ooh, okay, so that time he actually did punch us with the right arm, but we didn't clip, and like I said, that can also happen. Okay, left arm again. Yeah, this trick sucks. There's no other way to really put it. It's bad. Oh, yeah, left arm again. Okay, right arms. Nope. You'd think it would be 50-50, but I swear he punches with the left arm way more than the right. Okay, left arm again. Left arm. Yep. Can I get one more right arm, please? Thank you. Okay, so there we go. That's transport hub skip. Favorite trick in the game. Alright, so in other routes in the game, we would actually have the detonator here, which is this explosive that just kills that guy in one hit. Since we skipped the store on this level, we can't buy it anymore. At least this early in the game. But that's why we get the javelin gun as well. It's another nice little time save. Cool. So we eventually got it. So I guess that's, you know, that's better than having to wait. Yeah. Skillful trick indeed. Very cool. Yeah, I said the hack panels were one of the only random instances in the game. That is the worst instance of randomness in the entire game, and it's not really that close. The game is actually really consistent, as in if you do the same things will usually happen
That figures.
in terms of the big skips and things like that. Speaking of which, so this is chapter 7. We're gonna skip pretty much the entire thing. So I did something called a wiggle clip there, so you just kind of wiggle Isaac into the corner on certain collision and you'll be able to go through. And now we're gonna fly to the top of the 0G area. It doesn't go all the way up to the top of the level, but it goes high enough to get us up here. And then we're gonna line ourselves up with some collision down there. Basically, we're just trying to fall into a checkpoint below us, and we'll always hit the distance going forward, like the I think it's the you know, if we want to get technical here, I think it's the y-axis here. You'll always hit that distance by just flying forward, but the left and right is what determines whether you hit it or not. So if you're too far left or right, you won't get it. We got it though, nice. Okay, so that saves almost 9 minutes. It's a massive time save. So very nice. We're gonna hit a trigger there to start this whole auto-scroller section where you gotta wait for Ellie to unlock a door. Fortunately, there's a separate trigger to lock this area so you can't get back in, but we just hit the one for the auto-scroller and dodge the one to lock this room. And while we're waiting for that to play out, we can shop here. Take our time. We're gonna sell the javelin gun, leaving myself enough ammo to beat the game. And that is pretty much it. I'm just gonna buy some health packs since we got some extra money. Cool. Just leaving myself enough money to buy a gun later on. We're gonna be getting the contact beam for the final boss, and well, you'll see why when we get to the end of the game. It's
Hold on.
It's pretty good for that boss fight. All right, so that's pretty much it here. Just was going through selling everything. Cleaning up the inventory here. Yep, this is looking great. I don't even really need those health packs, but I don't need more ammo than this, and we can't use stasis packs, and we don't really need any other guns, so not too much to buy. You could buy a suit here, but we actually don't have enough money for that, and it also doesn't really save any time to do that, so yeah. Don't you have infinite ammo? No, but we could talk about that actually. So we used to just play chapter 1 pretty much casually, you know, except for like the, you know, small little tricks at the very beginning. Then we found some deloads to skip it, skip a big chunk of it, and wait, I wasn't paying attention to the dialogue here. I don't think she said the line yet. Oh no, I was right. Okay, cool. You wait for her to say a certain line of dialogue there and run over here and you'll know you're on track. I have missed it before and just sat there and she said, "It's open, go," and I'm not even anywhere near it. That feels pretty bad.
Shit.
Right, okay, so
It's okay.
No, it's not.
in the first level, when you get the plasma cutter, the game gives you infinite ammo, because to progress through the next room, you gotta shoot an enemy on a gurney. So if you run out of ammo, you wouldn't be able to progress, you'd be stuck there without, you know, being able to get more ammo. So the game just lets you reload your gun infinitely without needing to have any in your inventory. But that actually applies to all your other guns. So we didn't even realize this, but we found a skip where you would get the cutter, the plasma cutter, and then immediately backtrack and skip the rest of the level. And that actually lets you keep the infinite ammo for the entire game. And we, like I said, we didn't even realize that at first until all of a sudden, hey, I have so much ammo, even though I've been using it a lot. I have so much money, like why, like, I haven't had to sell any ammo, or, you know, I haven't had to, I have way more ammo to sell than I usually would, that's weird. So that's why. The newest chapter 1 skip we have that you saw me do in this run actually doesn't get the plasma cutter in chapter 1, so we never actually get the infinite ammo. So that's why there you see me actually keeping a little bit of it, because I do need to have some. I can't just, you know, blow through all of it and sell it. Alright, so here we got probably the hardest trick in the run we're going to be attempting. Well, the first part of it's actually pretty easy, but there's a faster part at the end that saves about half a minute. I'll go for it maybe once or twice, but it's really hard. So yeah, no promises, but I'll at least attempt it once or twice. So we're gonna open these doors here to get a deload. And now that the level's unloaded, we can kind of just run through these doors here. Gonna open this door here to load that area over there. Sort of becomes a little bit of a puzzle trying to figure out these deloads because each door will load in something different. When a door closes, it might unload something. So it's kind of cool to figure all that out. So here I'm just lining up another damage boost here. So we're gonna skip from the beginning of chapter 8 all the way to the end of chapter 9 here. But like I said, we're gonna try a slightly harder version of the last part called Bad Ideas Skip. Wow, we actually got it. Okay. Well, we got the first part at least. Okay, so that's the hard part. You have to open that door as you're falling at a very specific time so that you will land under the level and not in it. But the thing is, if you land just slightly below where I was there, you'll just fall into the void and die. But if you land in that very precise spot, we can jump down here a little early. And the reason that's broken is because you're normally supposed to destroy that first, which spawns in the tram that you're supposed to get on, right? But we've delayed that until now, so we can actually get up there before the tram does. And now there's a cutscene here. When we jump in this, it just forces Isaac to jump, right? Regardless of whether the tram is actually here or not. So if we can get there at the right time, let's see. We're far enough left. Not sure. Let's reload. So this can fix it if you don't get the right timing here. But the idea is when we jump into the tram, we actually hit the side of it and it pushes us like way out to the left during the cutscene. That looks pretty good. Yeah, I think we're good. Nice. This is a little scary because if you jump at the wrong time, you actually can soft lock your game completely. And every time you reload, you just get stuck in the wrong spot. Can't progress. I do have a backup save for it, so if it had happened, we would have been fine. This should be good though. So what's happening here is we are actually getting moved here through the level. It's not like a pre-rendered movie or something we're watching. We're actually moving through the game level. So you'll see this collision about to pass through. Normally you go past it, some stuff happens, you back up and you get off, and that's where the next checkpoint is. But because we're displaced to the left here, we can actually hit it during the cutscene. On if you get Giga Drill. We're not doing Giga Drill.
What did he?
Cool. So you see the tram's all messed up there. But yeah, that was really good. Like I said, that's more of like a bonus. Actually, getting that, it is very hard. If you land a little too high, you land at the level. That's fine. You can just progress. You just lose out on the 30-second time save. Skipping the cutscene. If you land too low, that's really bad, and you got to do the whole damage boost again. Go for it. I actually don't have my controller bind set up for it. I can't go for it. We can talk about that more when we get there, though. That trick. Yeah. Because remember, I tried it last time. I forget when that was, but last time I played this, I was like, oh, I'll just go for it, and it wasn't set up right. But yeah. All right, so we're gonna grab the safety checkpoint in case we miss this next trick. So we've returned to the Ishimura, which is where the first game takes place.
Are you okay?
But we're actually gonna skip a lot of it. So we get a little wall boost in that corner on the lift. That lets us get out of bounds here. And so you're supposed to go all the way through the flight deck here, through the engineering deck, take a tram all the way over to the medical deck, and then go to the bridge where the end of the level is. But it turns out the medical deck is to our left and below us, which sets us up perfectly to do a damage boost over there. So I'm gonna throw mine down here, and I'm just gonna get myself all lined up. Get my facing angle right. And there should be a door here that we're gonna open like that. Very nice. So that loads the level around us. Wait. Very high. Yep, there we go. Okay, so the reason I turn on high graphics there is it makes some extra lights appear during this section, and it makes it a bit easier to see where we're going. because, well, there's not much else to go off of in terms of where to go. So this makes this a little easier. Some of these sections are a little tricky at first when you first do them, but you get kind of used to where the visual cues are, so you know where you are in the level. But I keep opening doors as we go here, and that will continue to load in. Oh wait, hold on, I did mess up a little bit. Store, there we go. Okay, so you can use the locator to save yourself if you get stuck. So I know there's a store there. I can do that. There we go. Okay, like I said, yeah, it's a little tricky. You can get stuck in some of these hallways where there's nothing loaded there. There we go. Load this level back in. What, do you play on low graphics in the first place? It doesn't really matter that much. It's just easier to toggle because the setting that we actually want to make the lights appear here is called flares. So I could go into custom, turn flares off every time, but it's just more menuing that you have to do. So it's easier to just turn on very high, which always has flares, and then just go back to visuals. There we go. Just turn back to custom where I haven't turned off. Or you could do low. I think low has them off as well. It's just a lighting setting, but changing the whole graphics preset is faster than just going all the way over to flares and turning them on or off. Well, also I just don't like to play with flares on the entire time because I think they look kind of gross. Okay. So this, okay, we're not gonna do that. So that's a really short, or really small time save. But if you get that first try, you can do a save station clip. Skip this lift here.
The centrifuge looks full to full power from here.
And honestly, it might not have even been faster here because we usually time the game without the load screens. So at least on PC. So with the 10-second load screen, it might not even save time. It might save a little bit though. Anyway, so right here, that tether you activate. Well, I guess you would assume you're supposed to stand next to it, but as long as you hold the button down, you can walk away from it. So we can actually get on the other side of this door. This saves a couple seconds, and then I'm looking down here, so this cutscene doesn't play right away. And if we do this right, we can actually get in the escape pod before the cutscene plays. Normally Nicole shows up for a few seconds and says something to you, and then you get in. And because we got in without watching that, the cutscene audio just doesn't play. So we're just kind of sitting in silence here for a minute. Do the 10th of a second checkpoint restart. I might. Wait, this one coming up only saves 0.1? I feel like it saves more than that. Oh yeah, so I didn't really mention it, but it is useful for the run here. By default, the game just puts interact on E, but you can also bind it to your scroll wheel on the mouse, right? So if you use scroll wheel to interact, basically if you just interact with the panel too fast, it'll crash the game. That's pretty bad. Especially because the game does not autosave. So.
You're right, Isaac. The issue is
you're having a bad time.
I am so lucky to be serving aboard her.
Oh, that one. Yeah, no, I didn't do that one.
Stick with it. Stick with it.
That one long loads too, doesn't it? It's super slow in real time. All right, yeah, I was gonna say I think this one saves a little more time than that. I think. If you reload this checkpoint, it skips these two little moments here where Isaac gets staggered while he's watching this rig video. Cool. All right, we're in late game now. Just got 5 more chapters to go. So we got another room where we gotta kill all the enemies, but they generally do the same thing every time. Does that kill both of them? That works. Cool. Like I said, they generally do the same thing every time. You kind of gotta react. There we go. If the timing is slightly different or not. Yeah, that's the general idea.
Why did you do it, Strauss? I can't face it. I thought I only could.
Yeah, you wait 10 seconds so that your in-game timer saves a 10th of a second. Yeah. I don't even do that one in runs actually. Normally. Oh yeah, so Strauss is crazy. He stabbed Ellie in the eye and has run off somewhere. Short note here, it's a little faster in this section to aim. There's a goop on the ground, you get slowed down on it. But if you aim with a one-handed weapon like the cutter, you just move a little faster. Alright, the enemies in this room are a little random, so we gotta react to what they do. That's not the best thing that can happen there. Okay, we're good. Sometimes you can get blown up. Okay, no guy spawning here, that's interesting. No stasis, so can't slow enemies down, but you can just shoot them to stun them instead. Works pretty well. Yes, okay, we're gonna headshot that guy so he can't hit us with his ranged attack. They have this range attack that if you get hit by it, you move really slow for 10 seconds, unless you use a health pack. So we'll want to avoid that if possible. Alright, we're about to start setting up a series of skips that are going to take us almost to the end of the game, actually. I'll do my best to explain. It gets a little complicated, but basically, so we're in chapter 11, right? Chapter 12 is going to be the drill, but both levels are really just one map, right? So this next area coming up actually overlaps with chapter 13, which is the beginning of government sector, right? And at the end of the drill, it'll actually unload this area and load in that level. So the idea is we're going to do a bunch of tricks to start the drill and then get back here by the time it ends so that we can just load into that level instead. But first, we're going to clip through this wall here, just like that. Very nice. So this is called Strauss Kill Skip. Oh, okay, there's some textures that load in the background that help you see where the checkpoint is. I hit it anyway. Okay, sometimes they just don't load, which is annoying, but fortunately we got it. It does apply in 3 and does not in 1, I believe. In 3 you use it a lot, because it works on the snow sections too. Alright, so that was Strauss Kill Skip. Skips cutscene where we kill Strauss, as the name implies. So because we hit that checkpoint there, this 0G never goes away. You're not supposed to have this here. You're not supposed to be able to just fly around in this area. But unfortunately, we can't fly all the way to the top because the 0G area isn't actually that tall. But if you remember from the thing we did earlier where we punched through the air, we're going to do something similar but a little different. So as long as I punch while I'm in 0G and I'm on a wall like this, I will keep the ability to stick to walls as long as I'm punching. As soon as I stop, I'll fall back down to the ground. So the idea is we're just gonna keep this. We're gonna ride the elevator all the way to the top. And once we get up there, we're going to continue to climb up the wall and get out of bounds. And we're gonna use that to skip a cutscene. But that's not the only, well, it's not the only reason we do it. It is faster by itself, but it's gonna set up the next part of this big sequence, which is, so a lot of cutscenes in the game will make you invincible, right? Just so you don't die while you're watching them. But if we skip the cutscene and then go back and try to watch it, it won't play because it's not loaded properly. But it will still make us invincible. And the reason that's gonna be useful is because if you fall for too long in this game, you die. And like I said, that area I mentioned we need to get back to, it's way too far below us to survive the fall normally. But if we're invincible, then we can fall all the way back down there, and we'll be okay. It's the only place in the game we know of where you can become invincible, and it's also pretty much the only place in the game we actually really need it. So that's a pretty cool coincidence. Imagine doing this on console. This is technically possible on console, but it's a lot weirder at 30 FPS because Isaac doesn't really stick to the walls as well. Alright, so the lift has gotten to the top, and we're going to count some punches going up here so we know we are high enough. Because the lighting gets really weird here and you can't see for some reason, and it makes it a little obnoxious. But I need to land on this pillar here, so we should be right there. Nice. Alright, so now we are officially out of bounds, and we're gonna do a wall boost here. If you didn't know, these games are 3D platformers actually. You know, you might have heard these are some pretty good you know, third-person horror games, which is true, but they are also 3D platformers. We kill those guys to unlock a door behind us. You'll see why in a second here. But we're just gonna hit this checkpoint. There we go. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go back there. This door is the one that I was talking about that only unlocks if you kill the enemies. So we need that to get back in here. Now this is the door that plays the cutscene, except now it doesn't. So it might have not really looked like anything happened there, but like I said, instead of the cutscene playing, it just makes us invincible. We get to keep that property without having to actually watch the cutscene. Also gonna jump over that rail there, do a wall boost, take a little bit of a shortcut here, skip another cutscene. So see these explosions landing right next to me. We don't get hit at all. It does help a little bit being invincible. It saves a little bit of time in some other places, but the main reason is to survive the. You can think about it as fall damage, but there isn't fall damage in this game. It's more of a fall timer. Like once you leave the ground, a timer starts, and if you haven't hit the ground before it ends, you die. But you know, if we're invincible, we can't get killed by anything, so that's pretty helpful. Another little left yes trick here. Gonna clip through that gondola using the momentum of the lift and this prop here. Alright, we're gonna do a little bit of a funny cutscene thing here, cutscene glitch. So this isn't actually faster, but it looks really funny, and I think you all will enjoy it. So we skipped this cutscene earlier, but we're gonna watch it while the drill turns around, since we gotta wait for it anyway.
I think I've got it from up here.
And yeah, this kind of speaks for itself, I think.
I did it! I got it started. There's a lift on the other side. I'll turn around, you can get on.
Alright, well, if you got anything to say or to read, this is a good spot. Otherwise, I'll just keep going. We got some more stuff to explain in a minute here. I know I've been talking a lot, so. We're doing super drill skip, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna skip the drill. That's the last part of the puzzle here. So I need this little panel here. Oh, there we go. There it is. All right.
Okay.
So I've done this a few times in the run, but I'll explain why we're doing it here. We're turning VSync on, which locks the game at 30 FPS. Some of the physics things in this game are a little different depending on your frame rate. So here we actually want it to be a little lower. Makes it more consistent. It still works if your FPS is like 200, but it's just a little harder, a little less consistent. So we're gonna jump out of bounds here, and we're gonna line ourselves up. The Ellie's just kind of stuck over there. It's fine. All right, so I'm setting up my camera angle here, and once the drill gets far enough away from us, it's just gonna unload this room. We're gonna fall. All right, so here is where the invincibility comes into play. I die somewhere around here, but because we're invincible, we don't. So I'm back all the way in that room from earlier I mentioned where we did the other skip. And now that my camera angle is set up, we're just gonna fly left here for a little bit. We actually use a timer here to be able to tell where we are. We have a timing set up for this. I'm gonna fly left for a certain amount of time, about half a minute, a little bit less. So I'm just watching that here so I know how far to go. There we go. And we're gonna go back for another 30-ish seconds. I got the timestamps in my splits here so I can see them, but it's like roughly 30 seconds each way. So the idea here is we're backing up all the way to the edge of the 0G. So if I kept flying just a little bit more, or if I fly a little more than I'm going to here, I would just fall, which we don't want just yet. Like 10 more seconds here, a little less. Almost there. There we go. Okay. We're just gonna tap right a few times just to make sure we're in the right spot. And now we are gonna wait a little bit. You may have possibly seen a video on YouTube before called Dead Space Speedrunner Stand Still for 2 minutes and 27 seconds. So that it refers to drill skip. And to answer or to go off a Sims question earlier. there are actually multiple versions of this, so that video is now outdated. This skip, this version of it was found after that, and there's an even faster one that was found later. The reason I'm doing this second fastest version of this is because it's really consistent and way easier and less punishing. The other one, you only get one try at it, and it's really hard, and if you mess it up, you can't really try it again. Well, you could, but it's slow. But this version is nice and safe and is only like a minute and a half, minute 45 slower, which is a pretty decent amount of time, but it's not really worth the risk. It's only really a world record attempt kind of thing we would do. But yeah, so we just have to wait here. The drill is, like I said, it's an auto scroller. So as it continues to go along, it will load and unload different things. And once it gets to the very end, it's gonna unload the area I'm in, and it's gonna load the next level, chapter 13. So like I said before, the area I'm in now actually overlaps with that level. So that's why we got over here, because then when that happens, we will just fall into the next level. So I'm just watching my timer here. We're almost there. Once we get to the right time, I'm gonna start going back, and I'll fall. That looks pretty good. Falling. And then right around here, the level is gonna load there. So now, right there, that small little lighting change, that is actually the entire level unloading and this level loading in. Gonna open that door there, which loads the level in to catch us, and now we are in the second to last level of the game.
Where are you going?
Coincidentally, it gives us a deload there, which let's skip that cutscene as well. Not a cutscene, but you just gotta like wait for her to talk to you. If you fall out of bounds and you don't reload a save or something and you just continue, you do lose about 10 minutes, yeah. You could, if you made a save beforehand, I mean, I have a backup save too, so I could have loaded that as well if I missed this version. Same thing. If you miss it, you could reload it and do it again. But this one is just much safer. And again, like if you do miss it, it's consistent enough you'll probably get it. The next time, am I stuck? There we go. All right, so that's all a drill skip. That whole section is super complicated. Hopefully, I explained it in a way that makes some sense. But we still have that invincibility glitch active, so nothing can kill us. And the only way that effect goes away is if we reload from a checkpoint. So yeah, these lasers, which normally insta-kill us, don't. Line gun jammed there. It does that. The line gun would actually be maybe the best weapon in the game if it didn't do that. But that's a little annoying. Sometimes it just doesn't fire. I don't know why they did that. I don't know if it's a glitch or a bug, but yeah. But anyway, so yeah, you just run through the lasers. Not a big deal. We're gonna try to set up another deload here. If we don't get it, it's not a huge deal, but it is a nice little time save if you can get it. So we're gonna go left here, spawn this guy in. And we're gonna try to shoot just his leg off without killing him like that. Nice. So he holds that door open that door. That deloads this room. Now we can run through here. This deload is probably the hardest one to navigate quickly because there are really not that many visual cues. So you kind of just gotta practice it and know where you are. Get a feel for it. Very easy to get lost. There are still some visual cues though. I still sort of have an idea of where I am, but it's might not look super obvious just by looking at it. We're actually not even going out of bounds here at all, even if it looks like it. It's just that the lights are off, no textures are loaded, stuff like that. But the reason we do this is, again, when you're in a deloaded area like this, the doors don't have collision. So you just skip having to wait for all the doors to open. There we are. Gonna save the game here. A little safety save. It's not a big deal, but for this trick here, if you mess it up, you just gotta run all the way back. It saves us about 40 seconds. No, we don't get it. Right? Oh yeah, so this is I poke skip, another one of the bigger tricks in the run. So I'm not sure if I hit the checkpoint, so if I have to do it again, I'll explain it a little more. But basically, we use low FPS to get out of the elevator. after activating it, which unloads the level. Okay, yeah, so we'll do that again. So usually an invisible wall spawns in, so you can't just literally, you just run out of the elevator like this. The game tries to prevent you from doing that. But at low FPS, it can't load in fast enough. That should be better. Nice. So, again, similar to earlier, when you call an elevator down, but you're outside of it, it'll actually unload the area you're in because it's going to load, the level you're going to. So that lets us just fall all the way down, and we do some platforming, and here we are. We just skipped the last 2 chapters of the game completely, and we're pretty much at the final boss. So we got about, I'd say, 3 or 4 minutes left in the run before time. That missed? Not that one, no. I can tell I was a little off on the first one, but yeah. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. We got... Oh, welcome. Well, I was gonna say, if you got anything to read or say, this is a pretty good time. Kind of just chilling.
Thank you, Isaac. Now, time to die.
What?
All right, awesome. So yeah, we got a couple minutes left in the run. So if anybody wants to get in any donations before the end of this run, we got a little bit of time. I know we got at least one more run coming your way after this one as well. Here's the final boss. Don't blink or you'll miss it. This is why we buy the contact beam. Oh, she didn't. She does. Okay, Nicole's kind of ruining my bit here, but we're gonna do that again. Sometimes she just decides not to. There she goes. Okay. Okay, so whatever. So with 30 FPS desync on there, she kind of just dies in 3 hits, unless she decides to do what she did the first time, which is kind of rare. But all right, what's the in-game time? We're at a 102 right now. Loads removed. So probably be a 104 or 105. That's actually really good. Very solid. Yeah, there's a couple tricks you do miss sometimes in a live setting that you don't want to miss. Fortunately, it worked out pretty well. We actually did get transport hub skip, albeit pretty slowly, and the punch hover. We did get that one. Really sucks because you just kind of sit there for a minute in silence. But yeah, that was good. Oh, having some audio issues. Okay. Well, if you didn't hear, we were just saying every dollar is a tree planted. Raising money and yeah, well, I'm sure if you didn't hear, I'm sure the host will be back on in a little bit to go over the whole spiel. But didn't get chapter 3 launch, bad run. So true. So yeah, we got about a minute left here, maybe a little less. Time is gonna end after the final quick time event. Basically, as Ellie pulls Isaac into the gunship, I'll call it out a few seconds before it happens. But that's coming up in a little bit. Just quick shout-outs. Shout out to the whole Dead Space speedrunning community.
Yeah, well, you don't really have a say this time.
It's a really great community. If you ever wanted to run or have any interest in checking out some glitches or anything like that, just doing stuff, or even we got a lot of glitchless runners as well. Basically, if you have any interest in running these games at all, whether it's the original trilogy or the remake that just came out this year, we got a lot of friendly people that can help you out. If that's what you're interested in, we have a Discord for that. You can find it on speedrun.com as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm Sharkhat 87. I run a lot of these spooky games. And time's coming about 5 seconds here. And
I'm trying.
time. All right, that is Dead Space 2 any percent. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, like I said, I think we got at least one more run coming up for the marathon, so make sure you stick around to check that out in just a little bit.
Yeah, thank you. Just double check if the audio is coming through now.
Yeah, can you all hear Mike now?
Post some ones in the chat if you can.
Yeah, put some ones if you can hear Mike.
You know, the old standard.
Or I guess press 2 if not.
There we go. Yeah, let's see.
Some feedback, you know, I guess.
Yeah, I know, right? I've had to switch over for tech and hosting, and so it's a bit tricky to balance that out. Looked like a good run. Nice work.
Thank you. Yeah,
for joining. We'll be back soon with a Pokemon Scarlet and Violet race. So, you know, stay tuned for that. Have you given your outros and your shoutouts and all that?
Yep. Yeah, I think we're all pretty much ready to go. I was just saying, I don't know if they heard the whole the spiel about the
I'll re-give it once
and everything. So if you want to do that again, maybe. But yeah, besides that, I'm good. I did my thing.
Perfect.